Good morning, thanks for joining me. I hope everybody's well, and I am back with another round, with a coffee actually, more importantly, with a coffee, and with another round of answering your questions. Round 2 this is. As before, I'm going to answer that. Let's see how many I've got left. There's still quite a lot to get through. We've got all of these still to get through, so I think it might even go into a part 3. So I'm going to talk for half an hour. We'll do half an hour's worth, and it'll be a little bit less by the time I've edited it, but we'll aim for half an hour and then I'll stop and see how many we get through. So the first section I'm going to answer today is the questions on, let me see, shall we start with home or shall we start with travel? Let's start with home and then move on to travel. So Fiona Elizabeth asks, what made you choose your lovely house? Was it the very unusual layout and staircase? Is it designed like a ship? It's not actually designed like a ship. It's I'll put a picture on of the outside so you can see. It's very sort of modular looking. We've made it more modular looking as we've changed things up over the 10 years that we've lived here. It's got a flat roof. It's 1960s built, and then it was extended in the 1980s. And then we altered it over the last 10 years as we've moved in, adding the bigger balcony and a whole new front entrance, which we did a couple of years ago. When we first came to look at the house, it was owned by a very elderly couple, and fun fact, Ashley and I have never gone house hunting. For anybody who doesn't know, my husband owns an estate agency, and our houses have just sort of fallen into place when we've moved on to the next one. We've never physically gone out looking for houses. Houses have come up that Ashley thought might work for us, and we've looked at them and decided they would, and that's just how it's happened over the years. But we've been here 10 years. So with this house, it was much the same. Ashley had, his company had been asked to value it, and they've got, his colleague Mike, who does the valuations, had come round and looked at it and said, Ashley, I think this might be one for you, because we were vaguely talking about moving from our previous house. And Ashley came and had a look at it and fell in love with it, and then I came and had a look at it, and just the view was the thing that sold it to us first, but also the internal of the house. It's so unusual and so different, and it was not a house that I ever dreamed in my wildest dreams that I would be able to live in, and things just sort of fell into place. It was a very fraught process. We had to, it was owned by a very elderly couple, and they wanted to move. They wanted to move fairly immediately, and there was a lot of back and forth, which I won't go into, but we ended up having to buy this without selling our old house, which was quite a stretch for us. We did sell our old house, but the two didn't go through concurrently, and that was the way we were able to purchase this house, because the elderly couple wanted someone who would be prepared to do that, to fit in with their timescales. And every day I thank my lucky stars that I live in this house. I just think it's a lovely, lovely house, and I'm very happy to be here. With regard to, is it designed like a ship? Certainly the staircase behind me, when we moved in, this rail, the white rail, was brass, so it does have the feeling of a ship a little bit. And the courtyards, there's courtyard over that way and a courtyard out that way, which have plaques up on them. The one's called the Oriana deck. Sorry, the front one's a deck actually. It's called the Oriana deck. Oriana is a P&O cruise ship, if you didn't know. And there's the back one is is it the Aurora courtyard? Or that's ridiculous that I can't remember. I think it's the Aurora, both of which are P&O ships. I think the people who owned the house before us were very big into cruising, and it sort of felt like a sign when we moved in, because I had worked many years ago on board cruise ships for P&O, although neither of the ones that were named on there, but it felt like a bit of a sign when we came and looked at the house. So yes. I was asked several times. The first one is Dynamic McGaming, excellent username. Asked, hi Caroline, after the bathroom renovation, what's not next on the to-do list? And oh, sorry, I haven't got my sound turned off. Let me just do that. My Charmwood Home asks, what's your next big project for your home? And Eve Cole 2804 says, what is next on the house agenda? And Gina Stannard says, is there any update on when you might be starting work on your new kitchen, and what styles and colours are you considering? Let me get over the bathroom renovation first. I think we will be in our new bathroom this coming weekend, so that's good. That will probably be, by the time you see this, it will be a few weeks ago probably. So yes, very much looking forward to that. I would think it will probably be a couple of years before we do the kitchen, maybe next year. Let's see what finances allow. Certainly we have tried to, we've spent a lot of money on renovations since we've been in this house, and we tend to save up in between, so for the next project, because we like to have our holidays and stuff as well, so we like to maintain a lifestyle while still renovating, so we tend to do it more slowly in order to save up. So I would think probably within the next couple of years. But I said to Ashley the other day, I'm really going to have to brace myself to have the kitchen done, because I feel like I've had my fill of builders now. I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of being done with builders completely. Much as I love our builders, yeah, it's disruptive, isn't it? With regard to the style of the kitchen, haven't really thought too much about that yet. We will think about it nearer the time, I guess. Princess Lil Jim says, will you always live in the UK? Yes, I think we will. Family are here, particularly my mum and my son, particularly my mum and our son. Although Will is talking about possibly going to do a couple of years working in San Francisco at some point, because that is where all the big tech startups are, which is the sort of field he's in. I think I think we're too old to move now. I don't think anyone would want us particularly. Although I feel like as we get older, we might spend more time or extended stays abroad just for the weather. Filming this on the 2nd of May, looking out at the rain again. So yeah, I would like to be somewhere where you're guaranteed, you know, or pretty much guaranteed better weather than you are here for extended times. But I think the UK will always be our home, yes. On a similar note, Julie Pearson asks me, hi Caroline, do you think you will always live in Devon, or would you move closer to your mum? Well, I live about 100 miles, or almost exactly 100 miles from my mum. I don't think we'll move back up that way, although we do love the Dorset coast. Once Ashley retires, if Ashley retires, question about that coming up later on, I think. You know, I can do what I do anywhere. Ashley's got a physical business that is here, so for the moment, certainly we're staying here. Possibly we might, I honestly don't know. It's not something we've thought about, because, you know, nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. I think making plans is, God laugh, what's the saying about God laughing at those who make plans, that sort of thing. I feel like, yeah, no, I don't make plans too far into the future. Right, let's do, so that finishes the home section. Let's have a look. Shall we talk about travel? Let's talk about travel as I look out on the rain. Heather Leutcher, I hope I've pronounced that right. Heather Leutcher Warren, who's been a viewer for years. Thank you very much for sticking with me, Heather. Says, hi Caroline, if you could go anywhere in the world where you haven't been to before, what would be your top 3 destinations and why? That is really hard, because as I said earlier, I worked on cruise ships for 4.5 years in my early 20s, and I was very lucky in that during those 4.5 years I went all over the world. I didn't get the same route all the time, and I went to a lot of places. So my top 3 places I haven't been to, we've been watching Below Deck. And the latest series of Below Deck is set in Grenada, the Caribbean island, and we both think Grenada looks really nice, so Grenada would probably be on my list just because it looks really pretty, prettier than a lot of Caribbean islands that we've been to. It looks really pretty from the footage in Below Deck. Other than Grenada, there are lots of islands in Greece that we haven't been to. Greece is our top European destination. We adore Greece. Lots of places in Greece we haven't been to and would like to. Some of the smaller islands that are less touristy would very much be on our list. And also we haven't been to Kos or Rhodes or Crete. They're not on my burning ambition list because they are quite big and touristy. Next question is from Carmen 6614, who says, could you give any top tips about going on a cruise? I'm wanting to go on a cruise for my 40th anniversary and haven't a clue where to start. Any advice would be appreciated. I think if you have think about what you want out of it. I don't know where in the world you are, Carmen, but are you happy to fly to where the cruise goes from, or do you want to go from somewhere close to home, if that's possible? Are you looking for a more relaxing trip, just sort of chilling and relaxing, or are you into going to lots of different places every day and sightseeing? So if you're into more relaxing, look for a cruise perhaps with more sea days. Is there somewhere in the world you particularly want to go to? How long do you want to go for? Those things will help you narrow down the sort of thing you want to do to start with. Also, do you want to go on a cruise that's really dressy, that has lots of formal nights, or do you enjoy dressing up, or do you want something more casual? Lots of cruise lines cover both of those options these days, but start with that. And I get loads of really useful information on cruises from the Cruise Critic discussion boards, chat forums. There's so many really knowledgeable people on there and just a wealth of information, so that's also a good place to start. But I hope you have a wonderful trip, whatever it is, and let me know when you've been and how much you enjoyed it. Sylvia Edwards says, any summer plans, any local attractions? We're going away, not local attractions particularly, to be honest, in the summer, because I live in an area of the country that is very touristy. I tend to avoid going out and about too much in the summer because it's really busy and full of tourists. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So we tend to spend a lot of time at home, hopefully enjoying the summer weather. We are going on holiday twice this summer. We're going to Greece in early June and we're going on a cruise in late July. So that's really my plans for the summer. Very much looking forward to both of those and keeping my fingers crossed that we'll actually have some weather that, you know, looks like summer, or, you know, even spring. That would be quite nice as well. So those are my plans. Helen Mullane says, going on my first long haul flight in 2 weeks. Any tips for hand luggage content? Do I have a long haul flight hand luggage video anywhere? Not sure I do. Perhaps I need to do one of those. We're doing a long haul flight at the end of the year, so perhaps I will do it, one of those. I tend not to take too much when I fly long haul these days. When we used to fly long haul with the kids all the time, when I say kids, I mean my brother's kids as well, because we did a lot of long haul flying with all the family. I obviously still only have the one kid. Used to take loads of stuff for the kids as well, but these days are much more streamlined. I always take like a pashmina type thing that folds up quite small, but you can put around your shoulders if you're cold, or fold it up and use as a pillow. Always lip balm and moisturiser, because everything gets so dried out, your skin and everything on long haul flights. My Kindle, my iPad, relevant chargers and noise cancelling headphones are my top tips, I think. Piggy Wood Home and Travel says, have you got any cruises planned this year? And Jolene says, can you divulge what trip you're planning for the end of the year? I'm guessing Las Vegas or QM2. Yes, I can tell you what cruises So we're going on a cruise with my family, my mum and my aunt and my brother and my sister-in-law in the end of July. It's Spain and Portugal, I think. We're going on a celebrity cruise. We haven't cruised with celebrity before, so I'm quite excited about that. If anybody's been with celebrity, I think the ship is the Celebrity Apex. So if anybody's got any top tips for celebrity cruises, please let me know. The dining options look amazing, really excited about that. And it looks like a really interesting ship. I think there's going to be loads to do. It's going to be very different from Cunard, which is the only line that I've cruised as a passenger before this. So really looking forward to that. And then the trip for the end of the year, Jolene, you are right. It is QM2. We are doing the exact same trip that we did in 2019. We flew out to New York, we spent 3 days in New York, and we came back on the QM2 to Southampton, 7-day transatlantic cruise. Doing the exact same trip. I booked it a few months ago now, and I've got it for almost the exact same price that I paid in 2019, and I'm very, very excited about it. It was one of our best holidays ever. We just enjoyed it so much. And yeah, very, very excited about that one. Mrs. Pink's Tig says, if you could holiday anywhere in the world excluding places you've already been, where would you go? Possibly back to the Maldives. That's sort of a cheat, isn't it? But maybe a resort we haven't been, an island we haven't been to before. Or again, the Greek islands that I said earlier that we haven't visited yet. There's a lot of those. Susan Donovan says, best holiday you've ever had. Well, I sort of just answered that. That was an amazing holiday, New York and the QM2. But also a lot of family trips we did with my family. We went to the Maldives several times over the years when the kids were little, with my mum and dad, and we've got some amazing memories from those trips. And also went to Mauritius with them, and Dubai and the Caribbean a couple of times. We were really, really lucky. And yeah, the family holidays are which I guess means that people are just as important as places, aren't they? So times that you spent with loved ones are, you know, just as equally precious. You know, to be able to do it in such beautiful surroundings obviously was lovely, but it's the people that count the most. Good thought that, isn't it? I like that. Jean Thornbury says, have you ever been to Ireland? I have, Jean. I've got only to Dublin. Haven't travelled around Ireland very much. I'd like to go to Northern Ireland as well. But yeah, I have only been to Dublin, and that was really through work in the early to mid 90s, I guess it was. My dad and Ashley and my brother were doing a lot of work selling Spanish property over in Ireland, and they used to do big exhibitions in Dublin, all over Ireland actually, and sometimes my mum and Amanda and I would tag along, and we had many happy times in Dublin particularly. Ashley's been more all over Ireland working. Yeah, very much enjoyed the Irish hospitality, the Irish people, and Dublin itself was such a nice city, so cool, really enjoyed that. Shalene McKernan and Nicola Langham both have favourite holiday destination. I think these days it's got to be Greece. We just love Greece. It's quite easy to get to. There's so many places to explore. Again, we love the people, the surroundings. Ashley loves the history, and I like the weather and the food. And all of it, but yeah. Michelle Lee says, other than New York, have you travelled to the States? Which states did you enjoy, and what was on the itinerary that you visited? I have been to other places. I've been to Las Vegas with my friend Diane. We had a holiday there. I have been to Los Angeles. I went to stay with a friend years and years ago who was living in LA and enjoyed that. I have been to, just let me think, Fort Lauderdale. I joined ships in Fort Lauderdale, so I haven't spent a load of time there. So Florida, been to Hawaii, but my favourite place in America that I've been, I think, is Alaska. Loved Alaska, really, really enjoyed. I did 2 summer seasons up in Alaska with Princess Cruises back in the early 90s, and I thought Alaska was a magical place. I really, really liked it. Terrible weather though, shocking weather, but I did like the place. Just so different from anywhere else I'd ever been. Joan Carucci asked me, what do you consider to be yours and Ashley's most romantic getaway and why? And do you know what? I was completely stumped by this question. I even asked Ashley this morning. I said, can you think of a romantic getaway? He just laughed at me that we've ever had. I can tell you a romantic getaway that went wrong. We booked a very, very expensive hotel just for 2 nights for our 25th silver wedding anniversary a few years ago, and I can't remember if it was I think it was 2020 or 2021. It was during COVID times anyway. I think it was 2020, and we spent an awful lot of money on it, and it was awful. I won't say where it was. I don't think I've ever named it, but it was truly shocking. One of the biggest disappointment we've ever had, I think, and it was meant to be a lovely romantic getaway for our 25th wedding anniversary. Funnily enough, we met another couple there who were from somewhere else in the country, from Kent, I think they were, a really nice couple. And they had gone there for the exact same reason. It was their silver wedding anniversary, and they were equally disappointed as us. So we felt a bit vindicated in our level of disappointment, because this couple were also super, super disappointed. I think we were all really expecting something very, very special, considering the location and the amount of money we spent on this. And it just didn't live up to our expectations. It was, yeah, very disappointing. But it was in COVID times, so perhaps that mitigates a little bit, you know, perhaps that makes it not quite so bad. But yeah, I can't think of any other particularly exciting romantic getaways we've had. Right, I have come to the end of my coffee. And I've turned the camera off once during this, so I don't know how long I've been at it, but I think probably I've talked for enough. I think I've been talking for around half an hour. So I'm going to finish off with this at this point, and I've still got health and friends and family and a bunch of random to answer. So I'll be back with another part soon. Thank you for all your questions. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.